Senator Lindsey Graham says he sees a striking similarity between President Trump and former President Reagan after the strike on Syria.
We have listened to the wisdom in an old Russian maxim. Though my pronunciation may give you difficulty, the maxim is dovyai no provyai, trust but verify.
На каждой встрече вы это повторяете.
You repeat that at every meeting.
Look who's here, former Reagan economic advisor. We love him. He's Dr. Art Laffer. Now, Art, you're a student of history. I think you even listened to JFK speak when you were a Yale student, right? What do you see in Trump?
I see Trump doing a very good job so far. I mean, I completely support the Tomahawk missiles doing what they did, although God knows I'm not an expert in military affairs, so don't take me too seriously on that. The big one in defense, Liz, is being strong country. There is no alternative to economic growth, prosperity, and creating a much larger output, employment, and production. And that means tax cuts and incentives put back into the system, which is exactly what Ronald Reagan did. Do not let these types of ventures mislead you. I had all sorts of opponents back in the olden days of trying to get the tax cuts to get economic growth. George Will, it was Herb Stein, all of them saying this is going to take all the money out of the budget that we should use to support Israel. Let me tell you, without those tax cuts, we would have never been the sheriff in town. We need the tax cuts and economic growth much more than we need anything else, Liz. And this is a great venture, a great thing to do, and it's a great symbol. But anything that gets in the way of the tax cuts and economic growth is a huge mistake. Yeah,
you're saying it helps fund the defense and the military when you have that economic growth. And, of course, the entitlement state.
Of course it is.
When you were speaking, we were showing images of what was going on in Syria and the attacks on the citizens and civilians there, including children. I mean, we just heard Senator Brown, Art, that America is a beacon of hope and good for the world.
Yes.
And when you see what's going on in Syria, it's a direct opposite. I mean, Assad's killing half a million people with conventional weapons, not even the chemical ones.
Yeah, it's terrible. But just remember, it's economic prosperity that we need to have here to be able to enforce the freedom and choice and being able to stop these terrorists all over the world. You know, Russia was not defeated because of themselves. They were defeated by economic growth in the U.S., which caused their terrible axis of evil to be brought down. It was economic growth in the U.S. that did that, not just military. Military is a great product of economic growth, and doing that is wonderful, but never take your eye off the ball. We need tax cuts and economic growth now.
Yeah, it's an important point. Let's switch gears to Neil Gorsuch. He was sworn in today as Supreme Court Justice. Let's take a listen. I'd like your reaction.
I'm humbled by the trust placed in me today. I will never forget that to whom much is given, much will be expected. And I promise you that I will do all my powers permit to be a faithful servant of the Constitution and laws of this great nation.
You know, Art, Trump could fill 4 Supreme Court vacancies, right? Kennedy,
yes.
Ginsburg, Breyer, and now Scalia. I mean, did the Dems really duff this one? They made a mistake lowering the nuclear option to just 51 votes, right? It's like Reagan. Reagan filled 4 seats.
Yeah, well, it's just like, I mean, I don't know why they went after Gorsuch like they did. I mean, he seems to me, and again, I'm not a legal scholar, so forgive me, but he seemed to me an eminently qualified person for being on the Supreme Court. And I don't know why they choose to use this to attack. It makes no sense to me. But, you know, God bless them. They did that same thing, by the way, in 1981. You know, after Phil Gramm did the wonderful thing of co-sponsoring Graham Lott and Kent Hance did Hance Conable, the Democrats outed both of those people from their party. God bless them. I love that they became Republicans, but the Democrats have a death wish from time to time, and I think this is one of their death wishes.
Yeah, or quickly, do you like Trump's choices so far?
I think their choices are great so far, as long as he follows through on economic growth and tax cuts, which he has promised all the way along, and I think it would be just one. Deregulation is also really important, and controlling spending and all that stuff. Tax cuts are the key to economic growth.